Welcome to this Endorian Life, a Star Wars podcast from the Radio Meanwhile Network. My name is Steve Rudd.
I'm Nick Gunning, and this time our journey through Star Wars vintage brings us to the Droids.
Droids. Today we are discussing the Droids MyComyc from Editorial Gespa. These were originally released in 1986 when we were wee boys.
Yes, we were.
Where were they released, though? So it was in Spanish.
Yeah,
But
same
where?
thing.
But
Like,
where?
yeah, it was in Spain.
It was in Spain? Okay.
Yeah, just this MyComic compilation of popular cartoons of the 80s. So, yeah, weird thing to do. I don't understand how they had the rights because there's so many different things involved, but who knows? I don't know. You know, just when I think we're done with the Droids cartoon and comics, more things pop up. And I can't tell you how disappointed I was to see Theljobin and all of these idiots again.
I know, didn't I say it last time? As long as it's not about Paul and Jord. And then the first one, I was like, dang it, man.
Yeah, what the heck? Anyway, the art in these is done by Beaumont Studios, and once again, the translation is by Abel Pena. I do not know who wrote and drew these individually. I cannot find that information. So if anybody knows, send it to us on social medias or whatever, and we'll add it. But I couldn't figure it out.
And if it's you and you're still alive, please contact us.
Come on. Let's talk about it.
Yes.
All right. Our feature today is MyComycs himself. As we discussed last time, it featured stories from Tom and Jerry, Pink Panther, David the Gnome, and the 80s classic Inspector Gadget. Talk about a bop of a theme song. That Inspector Gadget theme song. Yeah, you got it. The show ran for 86 episodes and starred Don Adams, who I knew from Get Smart. Did you watch Get Smart?
Oh, no, I didn't watch Get Smart.
Oh, so good. That was on Nick at Night in like a constant rotation when I was a kid, and I loved it. Like this, Green Acres, I Dream of Jeannie. It was like the golden age of Nick at Night.
Oh, Green Acres. Green Acres is
it's another good theme song. It's a great era for it.
I love that one.
Yep.
Land spreading out so far away.
Yeah. Anyway, Don Adams has Inspector Gadget, and here's a connection for you. Cree Summer voices Penny.
Whoa, no way.
But she'll always be Nisa to us, obviously.
She is always Nisa, yeah.
Yeah, she is Nisa.
In our hearts.
So I want to say there are fewer of these than we had with the Ewoks, right?
I think maybe one fewer.
But I'm not complaining.
So in this we get our first connected one.
Yeah.
Where the other ones with the Ewoks were all just completely different, all vignettes that had nothing to do with each other. Wasn't like the next one picks up where the last one left off. They were just completely new.
Trying to make these serialized. I mean, the characters are awful, as we've discussed so much by this point. Those characters are awful. And so to try to also get characterization out of them in like 6 panels or something, it's like never going to happen. So I don't know why they did it.
Actually, what I did notice is that the droids are the ones that kind of do the stuff in these serials. Where like you think back to the show, and it was like most of the time it was the droids doing, like 3PO doing something foolish, but the human characters were the ones that were kind of progressing the story and doing things. And R2, like every once in a while, did something as well. But like this, it was pretty much like mostly R2. And it was always like, man, let's think of an idea. What do you think, R2? And R2 always had an idea.
Yep.
And, C3PO just kind of is just there to like ask R2 what they should do.
To be the one who has dialogue, I guess.
Yeah. So, oh no, we're scared. Oh, R2, what should we do?
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, the problem's solved. Yeah.
All right, take us through these mini uber detailed plots.
All right. The first vignette is neutralizing Trigon 1. Thal, Jord, 3PO, and R2 work quickly to find the Trigon 1's secret mountain hideout and successfully neutralize its computer memory system.
I mean, I guess.
He goes in and he like rips all the memory tapes out. And I was like, oh, yeah, you're going to like maybe drive it into the mountain or like... damage it beyond repair, or just gonna rip out all the memory tapes that look like VHS tapes. Just put those back in, right? And then good to go.
Well, I mean, this one starts us off in a weird foot because, like, at the very least, we are reading this compiled, like all these are together. But these issues came out, I mean, I don't know how often, but like they weren't all out at once. They weren't all in one book. I mean, these would have been spread out across many issues of My Comics. So like you would have read this and then like whatever, weeks later would have gotten the next part, which I have to believe the other ones, like the Inspector Gadgets and stuff, probably were more like the Ewoks. Maybe not, but it just seems like the Ewoks ones worked because they were just like boom, boom, boom. But this is like,
see, we've seen the show, so like we know what the Trigon one is, and it almost seemed like these were all written like you're supposed to know who these characters are ahead of time. And even in this one, like this one was so feels like the first page is just kind of wasted, and the last page just like boom, 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 everything happens, and you're like, wait a minute, what? Like at the end of this one, I was like, oh no, they're still on the Trigon one. I thought he was going to damage it, but he just like pulled out all the memory and is like, yes, I did it. And then their last frame is them like lounging on it. And I was like, why did you rip all the memory things for then? If you're just going to like live on it, like that didn't make any sense to me. I was like, you mean you didn't get out of there? And so that's what I thought. I thought they were like back at their like lair.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, whoa, man, good thing we did that. We just saved the galaxy. But they're like, no, they're like, yeah, we just saved the galaxy while they're still on the Trigon one.
Yeah.
So that just, But that leads us into the next one.
Okay.
Kea kidnapped. You remember her?
Barely, but yes.
Well, you're going to remember now.
I guess.
The Fromm gang has captured Kea, using her as trade fodder for the Trigon 1. R2 comes up with a clever plan to spring Kea out of prison and does so successfully with the usual commentative help of 3PO.
That's why
because 3PO really didn't do anything.
Yeah.
He just commentated while R2 like literally did everything.
Yeah.
But
there's so many characters in these. Now we have Kea back. There's so many characters.
Yeah. Oh, we have Tig and Size From, and we have Vlix back in all these. And it's just
Thank
like,
goodness.
He was another one where like, oh no, something happens. And like the droids' plan is that just the droids go. And it's just like, wait, that's the plan. Wait, I don't.
Yep.
How is that a good plan? Like, I don't know. Why wouldn't you want to all go?
Yep.
I don't know. And then it's just like, why did they even let the ship land when it wasn't the Trigon 1? That like bothered me too. It's like, oh yeah, here they are, and it's like, but they're not coming with the. So what's going on? I don't know.
I don't know.
It also ended with them lounging again.
In a big big couch, maybe. I don't know.
I know. Yeah. Oh, and apparently there's only one droid guard at the Fromm base.
Yeah.
So
budget's tight, you know.
Yeah. And Tig didn't even get a chance to like meet up. It was like they landed, some of their men were like, all right, you're coming with us. And then they like shot them, got Kea, got out. And I thought it looked to me like Tig was looking through a window and he was like, what? They're running away. But he's just looking at a screen. And it's like, what are you still doing in your office?
I don't know. I don't know.
The stuff they've never been. These felt really hard to read, and they were only 2 pages. And I got to be honest, it's not just because they're droids; it's because I was like, "What is happening?"
Right?
What?
Well, I sort of was like, "Wait, are these connected? Is one thing happening after the next, or is it just like you're dropped in? You know, like the Clone Wars show, you're just dropped into any given adventure at any given time." I don't know. I didn't like it. I mean, I could tell you that much, but
yeah, what I mean is the Clone Wars. They give you that little like blurb of like what's happening, and they kind of did in this too. There's like a little blurb of like now on the planet of Geonosis, and then you're like, okay, well, I guess that's what planet we're on, right? So you kind of get like a little, like your little appetizer of what's happening, but then you get right into like the main course, you know, and then it ends, and then there's dessert. Where this was just like. Shove that food in your face, eat it, get out of here,
like got more. We've got so many more.
Unfortunately, we got some more. Doesn't get any better. The next one is the stolen ship. Vlix cleverly steals the droid's ship. The way it happens to, he's like, "Oh, you guys didn't leave," and it's like, "Golly, okay." However, 3PO and R2 find out what Vlix's plans are with the help of Nix. I guess I'm not sure if we're supposed to know this. Nix, Vlix, and Nix.
I don't know.
R2
don't know.
R2, I don't know. R2 implements his new ship's program and easily diverts their ship back home, much to the dismay of Vlix. That was it. Like,
yeah.
they just remotely piloted the ship back. The end.
Yeah. Okay, the end.
Okay. I mean, that works, I guess, right?
It's
now
we have Vlix. It's like we're piling characters on top of characters.
Yeah.
All right.
He tried his best in that one.
He did.
The next is the sabotage droid. Jan Tosh, 3PO, and R2 visit an old friend, Professor Smith, on his satellite station, only to find General Kuhn has reprogrammed the Professor's XR droid to capture them. Acting quickly, R2 disables the remote connection to XR, destroying it in the process. I think that's what happens. It looks like R2 shoots a computer screen or something, and then like this bolt of lightning comes back and strikes the XR droid.
I couldn't quite figure that out either.
I know, because I'm sitting here writing it going, wait, did he just blow the connection? But
this is the one I had to look at the most times, because I'm like, he's shattering this TV screen into a million pieces, and then the droid also dies. So is it, maybe you're right. Maybe it's just the remote connection goes. I don't know.
Well, I think that's what it's supposed to be. But
I think so. This was my favorite one.
Really?
Yeah, it's slim pickings, but I guess I felt like this one was the most contained, and it was the most like the droids are in a scrape and R2 to the rescue. Like, this one worked the best as just a little quick bite for me.
This one made the most sense.
Yeah.
And it was like new people, the Professor Smith.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if that was any kind of a reference. I mean, Smith is obviously the most iconically generic name, but it made me think of Dr. Smith from Lost in Space.
Maybe it was like a nod to that or something.
Yeah, could be.
All right, the next one is Troublesome Outing. While Jan Tosh is off shopping, 3PO gets himself captured by Professor Broom, a droid scrapper. When Jan Tosh returns, he and R2 work to rescue 3PO. Distracted by Jan and R2, the Professor is incapacitated by none other than 3PO.
Yeah.
He did it.
Yeah.
He did it.
This was kind of a good 1-2 punch. I feel like these two together, they kind of worked, and one, highlights R2. This one highlights C-3PO. I also kind of appreciated that it broke up the R2 C-3PO thing. So it was like Jan and R2 rescuing C-3PO. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Maybe this one was my favorite.
Jan Tosh, though, was completely different looking.
I've tried to forget it, so I.
Yeah. This one felt a little bit wasted at the beginning, but then it ended well. Like, I thought it was really cool that like 3PO was even like, you forgot about me, and bops him over the head with a pipe. Yeah. Like, that's perfect. Like,
finally.
Yeah, he didn't twerk or anything, nothing like that. No, so
very little twerking.
Unnecessary twerking was not needed. Yeah.
That's right.
All right. The secret disc. During a visit to Kaya's homeworld, Kaya, 3PO, and R2 come under attack by Fromm's ship, targeting them for their top secret disc. Because it's really not secret.
Yeah.
R2 devises a plan to copy the disc to his memory and Kaya wipe it. Tig Fromm unknowingly accepts the blank disc in exchange for their freedom.
Oh, Tig. When will you learn?
Oh, Tiggy Tig.
Classic.
I just like, why are they attacking us? Probably because of this secret disc. And nobody was like, it's not a secret disc, man. They know.
We all know about it. Secret from whom? Secret from whom?
Like literally everybody knows.
Okay. All right.
Oh, man. And then the final one, the
Cloud.
I think this is by far the worst one. By far, yeah.
Okay.
The Cloud. While seeking new adventures, 3PO and R2 stumble upon a mysteriously dark cloud formed by a Fromm satellite. They discover its purpose is to remove all trace of space travelers. They quickly board the satellite, shut it off, and blast away before even being discovered. To me, I was like, they got on it? Like, it was like, oh no, what do we do? And then there was like a picture of him like switching off a switch. And I was like, wait, did they have that switch on their ship and they just like turned off the artificial cloud from their ship.
Maybe.
And it didn't make sense. They're literally like, let's get closer to see what this is about. And I guess they see on the side of the ship, Size From's face is just painted on it. So that's how they know that it's the From ship.
I really like
it's an ugly clown face painted on the side of the ship, like, oh god, oh, it's so From ship.
I love it.
It's so bad, yeah.
It is bad, but I just love that there is a button that's marked artificial cloud off on, and the solution is to just flick it off. Oh my gosh.
What happens in that next frame? It does say kapow. I think R2 shoots it. So they like turn it off, and then he just blows up the control panel.
Right. And then they're just like, cheese it, and they get back in their little spaceship and drive away. Yeah,
and
makes no sense.
R2's like beep beep, and I guess their ship has like a keyhole on the bottom.
It does have a keyhole. Yeah, I don't know if
it looks like it slides in and notches.
Does landing gear come out of that? I don't know.
There's so much about this that's just hilarious. Like it's, and then they're suddenly inside the satellite that's doing this fog, and nobody's on it.
No,
but there's a video of Tig From telling everyone what the plan is.
Right.
Very weird. This one I thought was like, this is really bad.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty bad. Okay, well.
There's even a frame. I mean, they say, like, what is it? Yeah, the travel. Oh, they're disappearing. And they're like, so it's just like, okay. I guess, I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
There were ghosts, help, phantoms, and then they disappeared. And it's just like, was that like.
I don't know.
I don't know. This one really confused me. This one.
Yeah.
You know how, like, I always say, I wish they were a little bit longer?
Yeah.
Really, none of these I wish were any longer.
This is a back to the drawing board kind of situation.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, again, we're not covering new ground here by saying that, like, R2 and C-3PO have been some of those popular Star Wars characters, like, since day one.
Yeah.
And the fact that they just have carte blanche to do what they want with them, and this is what they end up doing, is I just don't understand. So it's very weird.
You know what it is? It's like sometimes when you have a popular character in a show or movie or something, and you're like, oh yeah, we should make a spinoff, and then the spinoff is widely unpopular. And it's like, because those characters are great, but they don't work on their own. And I feel like the Ewoks do very well, like have really good potential as their own show, but the droids, they're not compelling. They're not learning any lesson.
Well,
there's no moral theme. They're just going from master to master, just kind of as a part of the story, maybe part, sometimes not part. And it's just, for some reason, it falls flat. And it is weird that they are so iconic. It just doesn't work.
Bringing up the spin-off analogy is a good one, because typically when you do that, you know what I mean? Like when you have the Mary Tyler Moore show and like now we have Lou Grant or now we have Rhoda or whatever. Like the new show is about that person and the show is built around that person. It's not like take a side character from a popular show and make them a side character in a sucky show. And that's pretty much what this is, because it's not like the focus shifted to C-3PO and R2 for this. They are still minor supporting characters. Only the main characters suck. So
well, I mean, that's kind of like this. This is reminiscent of what Disney's done with like Kenobi, and kind of he was relegated to kind of being the second, the backup character in his own show. Same with Ahsoka. Kind of was literally like, okay, the show is really not about Ahsoka, unfortunately, and like all the best parts were actually Ahsoka's storyline. And it's like, it's just true. And I mean, this is like, it feels reminiscent of that, where we're just like, R2, it's almost like these little MyComycs, and even the show. I mean, MyComycs are doing what they can with 2 pages, which is pretty amazing. But it's like they're pulling these characters down with the droid content almost. And it's like one of those things. This is the droid stuff feels very close to the holiday special quality to me.
Yeah.
Where it's like Star Wars, Disney, George Lucas or whatever really wants to forget the droid stuff. Maybe not so much the Ewok stuff, but definitely wants to forget the droid stuff.
I also want to forget the droid stuff. I don't know why we keep talking about it. I guess we're just completists and we've come this far,
We are completists. Yeah.
So, all right, we have been talking about bad things for so long. Why don't we do our Ichiwawa moments? What is your Ichiwawa moment?
I think my Ichiwawa moment was the moment Ichiwawa in the troublesome outing, the one with the Professor Broom, where there was a point where the professor was distracted by Jantosh and R2, and 3PO knocked him out. I thought, finally, 3PO actually did something. It was always so very rare in the show and in the comics that 3PO actually did something productive. For me, it was oh, finally, he actually purposefully took advantage of the situation to knock the guy out.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What about you?
This is rare to say in this series, but I actually really like the look of these. I mean, a lot of the designs stay true to what we saw in the other things, but they're stylized in more of an Art Deco kind of way, almost like a 1920s, Metropolis kind of vibe. And the colors, especially we were making fun of the key ship, but that last one in particular, there's lots of there's reds and there's pinks and purples and yellows, and it's reminiscent of Jack Kirby's work on, say, the Eternals, one of his sci-fi kind of things, where it's all of these outlandish colors and these throwback designs, and I actually genuinely liked the looks.
So the last one, it's funny that you talk about that one. I think 3PO looks the worst in that one. Everything else looks very cool, but if you go back and you look, 3PO has that circle on his chest is very detailed. He's got the lots of black to kind of give that air of shininess that he is a very shiny golden colored.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple others where he's pretty much just a two-tone, yellow and orange. But that one, the last one, it looks like they had a lot of trouble with the back of his head.
Yeah, and there's one where it looks like his head is just on backwards. It's like you're looking at the front of his body and the back of his head, and I don't know why. But even with that, even with that, I just feel like it does have kind of a cool... this feels like the kind of thing where if you had a print of just these images, it would be cool in a cafe or, a study or a hangout room. You know what I mean? So I did like that. What about your Oak of Arc moment?
It was really hard to nail down. To me, this seemed like the majority of them felt that as every frame passed, the story got quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker. And it was very hard to keep up with every single one of these. I had to, even though there were 2 pages, I felt like I could have read a 40-page comic faster than these, because I had to keep going back to a previous page and being wait a minute, what? Where are they? What? And so it almost seemed like the Ewok ones, they were just let's think of a very simple thing and make 2 pages. Mm-hmm. This felt abridged, where they had a 6-page comic that they were we really need you to just kind of cut out frames and make it 2 pages for us. And that's what they did. And this is the final product. We're sometimes between a frame, it was a second. And sometimes it was the next day.
Yeah.
And there was very little, you can't just be meanwhile, on the ship. And it's wait a minute, on the ship? They didn't even talk about going on the ship. They just said, oh yeah, it's a From ship. And the next frame is they're on it. And it's no, you can't just do that, to progress the story. It was so hard to keep track of 2 pages worth of content every time.
Yep.
Oh, what about you?
We are reintroduced to so many characters. And so my Oak of Arc is that we did not get Munjalpa. I really needed a return visit from Munjalpa. I'm back, everyone. No, I mean, that is true. I did, if we're gonna go for gold, give me Munjalpa. This is a cop out, and I'm just gonna own that. Nothing worked. Nothing about this worked. Even from the very low standards of the Droids comic and shows, these are not fun. They're not funny. They're not actiony. They're just a mess. And I feel like reading them on the heels of reading the Ewoks one, which by and large were pretty fun. Like if those were in a newspaper, I would have been like, yeah, okay, whatever. These just fell flat. And it's like there's not any one thing that could be tweaked. It's like throw out everything you got and start over and just have a 2-page droid shenanigans, and that's it. I feel like that's the only way to do something like this. So
they tried to make them too complicated.
Yes.
It was really disappointing to kind of hit all of these, and I was like, no, surely there's one that's going to be a home run, and it's like, no.
Mm-hmm. Nope. That is
not
a
no. Single one.
That is
which
a
is
no.
very unfortunate.
I agree.
It's the droids, man. They're just not compelling. I gotta be honest. It's weird.
But I think they could be. It's just in this they're not. Anyway,
this format.
Dancing around Yub Nubs. I don't know. 0? No Yub Nubs. I mean,
I was like a 1.5, 2.
Yeah.
Not even a 2. No, this one was a 1.5. I think it was I felt very miserable. I think it could probably get worse. That's why it's a 1.5. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it should just be 1. To set the tone of like.
I did like the art, so I'll go with you there. 1.5. That was something.
Okay, 1.5. Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. Well, we've done a community service. Now we've read these. We've reported on them. Nobody ever has to read this ever again, and that's it.
Oh man!
Next time, this is an episode we've had in the hopper for a long time, and we're reaching the end of the line on Ewok content. So I'm excited to do this. But next time, we will be back on Endor for the first canonical appearance of Nisa and crew in the Forces of Destiny shorts. So this is a show that ran for 2 seasons. It was consisting of shorts. They would air on YouTube and then stream on Disney Plus after that. And there are 4 episodes with Ewoks, and these are considered canon. So if you're into that kind of thing, this is where some of this Ewok stuff that always exists in Legends kind of comes into the mainstream continuity. The episodes are Ewok Escape, Imperial Feast, Chopper and Friends, Traps and Tribulations. They're on YouTube or they're on Disney Plus under the Forces of Destiny series. That should be fun to talk about. And a little heads up for our annual Star Wars Day book club. Amanda Smith from the David A. Howe Library is going to be back with us, and we're going to be talking about the MedStar duology by Michael Reeves and Steve Perry, which I read 20 years ago and loved, and I've been enjoying revisiting them.
You really have been enjoying them?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, a little.
I shouldn't be mean. Okay. Yeah. I don't know.
You gotta save it. You gotta save it.
I'll save it.
Okay.
I'll save it.
Okay.
We should also bring up too that when we tried to get the audiobooks, apparently there was a line.
Yes.
Somebody's out there reading obscure Star Wars content like we are. I don't know if you're a listener, more power to you, but it was very stunning to be like, I'm in line. I'm like 3rd, 4th in line.
I know.
Was in front of me because we communicated. It was like, Nick, is that you? And you're like, well, yeah, I got a hold on it, but like that's it. Like, and then we reached out to other people, and they're like, no, we don't. And it's like, well, who's listening to this? Somebody. Oh, I thought that was great. That's awesome.
Yeah, when these showed up on Libby, there was like 4 or 5 people waiting for them, which is unusual for books that have been out for decades. Just resurfacing. So. Okay.
Very cool.
Well, I'm interested to see what you think of it now, but we got Forces of Destiny next.
Yes, can't wait. I'll see you then.
All right.
This Endorian Life was brought to you by the Radio Meanwhile Network. Other shows on the network include 902 and Here We Go, 90s Music Got Me Like, plus a special congratulations to our friends at Previously on X-Men who just celebrated 100 episodes. Please rate, subscribe, and share the show wherever you get your podcasts. Each one. Man, 100. What an accomplishment. Seriously.
It's in the air. I know. Yeah. It's funny, too, because that show started in 2019, and we started way after that, but our frequency we are locked in every 2 weeks. Come hell or high water,
There's so much content to just go through. Yeah, gluttons for punishment. That's what it is.
They had like a 2-year head start on us, and we still beat them to 100. But, we're all a big, happy Radio Meanwhile family, right?
Yeah, so it's fun. I'm glad they did it. It's huge.
Yep.